Hello, I'm Evelyn Ryder, and I'm here today to talk with you about leaves. Since summer's over and we've gotten cooler weather, the leaves have started to change on the trees. It hasn't been the best year for the colors, but I went out and looked to see if I could find some good examples of the pretty yellow, red, and sometimes purpley looking leaves. I would like to just point out a few things that make these leaves interesting. First of all, they're different sizes. You can see a tiny, tiny one here, some little ones, medium size, and I even found this giant leaf. That's really quite a contrast between sizes. And I found a rather large oak leaf too. If you look at the sizes and the shapes and the colors, you can realize the variety of leaves that we have. And why is this important? Because each one should be appreciated for what it is. I like to pick them up when I go out, and sometimes I like to press them in a book. I went out this morning and picked up some leaves because I wanted to work with fresh, damp, flexible examples. And here I have a simple shape, but with a really beautiful color, and I would like to keep it, but the only way I can really preserve its shape and color is to put it in between two pieces of wax paper and put it in a heavy book. Now I can put this away and let it dry, and it will be flat and colorful when I get it out. I've actually opened old books and found a leaf pressed inside, so that this actually works pretty well. Another thing you can do is simply trace around the leaves to show all the details and the shapes of the leaves you've found. This is just an example of 5 leaves that I have picked up and traced because I liked the shapes. Obviously it doesn't have any color, but I could go back and I could fill the color in using watercolors, crayons, pens. Another thing you can do is trace around the leaves multiple times, and you get a really interesting result because you fill in the spaces where the leaves are close together. So this is another thing that you can do if you want to do something a little more intricate. Once I've colored this in, I trimmed it out, and I can use this as a place card for my table at Thanksgiving. When you turn a leaf over, the back of the leaf has many veins and lines that you can see, and it creates a very decorative pattern. I decided I would print with these leaves, and this is the result of one of those prints. I'm going to show you today how you can do this, and maybe you can get some good results. I've squeezed a little acrylic paint on my paper plate here, and I have a wide brush and some water, and I'm going to simply wet down the paint till it's a nice liquid consistency. Now you can use tempera paint, and that's fine too, but I want to be able to work fairly quickly so it doesn't dry on the leaf, and I want to be able to coat the leaf. And you'll find sometimes you have to go back over it a couple times to get the whole surface to hold the paint. I should have done a smaller one. I mix a little of the red and the yellow, or the red and the orange in there. You notice I have scrap paper underneath this paint. You don't want to use it on top of your table or your counter. So I have a piece of paper, old paper, that I can, liberally coat the leaf, and it won't matter if I get a lot of the paint on the paper. It's coated fairly well. Now, I will be printing it on a clean surface. So over here, where there's no chance of picking up paint, I'm going to put my paper down, carefully take the leaf and position it, and then cover it with a paper towel. This allows me to put my hand right on the leaf and to press the image onto my paper without getting squirts of ink all over. Or paint, actually, I should have said that. Now I'm trying to cover all the surface. And then we can just see what happened. This turned out pretty well. It has a few flaws, but mostly I was looking for the veining and the texture on the leaf. So I'm pretty happy with that. A couple others that I did earlier were similar. You can see the veining on the leaf, but the image isn't quite as clear, so I cut it out so you could see the contour. I think this is probably the best print that I made in terms of transferring all the details. I'm going to print a smaller leaf right now. You notice that I have a clean surface on which to apply the paint. And I want to get the little details from this one. And I'm going to print it on a lighter weight paper because sometimes if the paper is too thick, like construction paper can be too thick, it will be difficult to get details. So. This time I'll get the stem because I like the stem on the print. Okay. This paper is much thinner. Now, again, I'm going to need a paper towel to cover the leaf so I can press. And notice that I hold it down carefully with one hand. I don't want it to scoot all over the printing paper. That first print didn't come out very well, so I'm going to try this same leaf again. It's good to start pressing from the center and work your way out. This one is much better. You can see I got perfect shape and all the little details. So if you just take more time, sometimes you get a better result. When you're finished printing, be sure you clean your brush right away, because if you're using acrylic paint, the paint will dry on the brush and you'll never get it clean again. It'll be stiff and you won't be able to use it. So make sure you take a few minutes to clean your brush. And I'll be putting this under the faucet when I'm finished here, but get it nice and rinsed, blot it on the paper towel, and put this aside. You're probably wondering why I was talking about leaves this morning. It's because I find they're really interesting, and they're like people, because some of them are very small and some of them are very large. Some of them have really detailed edges, and some of them really are a simple shape. There are also ones that seem to have like freckles. And of course they come in different colors. And that's like people. You'll find many different kinds of people all over the world. And that's a good thing, because when you take the time to get to know other people and you come together, like this little collage of other leaves, many things that are good can happen. I created this collage after I had examined some of the leaves, and I cut out each leaf from a piece of origami paper that I had. And I decided to put them together so that we could see the similarities and the differences. And these leaves are like people. If we all get together, get to know each other, we can appreciate each other more. And it's more interesting than having a single solitary person, or leaf in this case. So the next time you go out and you look at the ground and there are leaves from different trees in different colors and different sizes, remember that we're kind of like those leaves, and we find ourselves in different places, and we can learn a lot about other people, and we can appreciate them very much. So you see that you can be like a leaf. You can be alone, or you can join in and get to know other people, people with differences, and it's much more interesting, and it's important to appreciate all the differences in the world. Thank you.